You'll need a single square sheet of paper. All white is best. I'm going to be using a two-sided paper to make the instruction more clear. Begin by folding in half, edge to edge. And unfold. Fold the parallel edges into the crease. This is what we call a cupboard fold in origami. Take one of the short edges of this rectangle and fold against one of the longer edges. Good sharp crease. Unfold. Take that same short edge and fold it against the other long edge. Good sharp crease and unfold. Flip the paper over so that the X shape exhibits mountain creases. Fold the X in half. And unfold. Notice how we're able to make classic water bomb base shape up here. But we need these layers, so open the paper completely, flatten it out a bit, and reform the water bomb base in this manner. Notice how I'm using the creases that are already in the paper and just placing the shape this way. Next, let's bring in these sides and go down to the bottom and fold in the square corners so that the edges meet at the crease. Open. It'll be helpful to reverse those for a moment. Like that. Because we're going to eventually inside reverse fold these. In fact, you can do that now so that the paper will have all that good folding in place. Willing to bend easily that way when we need them to do so. Like that. And open. So here's the basic crease pattern. Let's go back to this shape and let's fold in to make a squash fold like that. Notice the trapezoid we've formed here. Let's do the same thing here. Push in, flatten, flip the paper up, and form the trapezoid like that. And let's bring these layers down. Next, notice these yellow squares on my paper. We're going to fold them in half diagonally, outward that way, so that the outermost free corner gets folded in half. Let's do the same thing with the other one. Like this. Rotate the paper so that these folded triangles can be moved up, like that. Here's the baseline of the triangle. I want you to take this long folded edge and fold it down against the baseline. Same thing on the other side. Down against the base. Good sharp creases. And unfold. Let's do a little more work back here. Rotate the paper so that you can grab one of these corners, turning it over, and notice this edge. I'm going to move it to align with this long folded edge of my triangle. That's what I'm going to flatten first. You'll notice that this area opens up, and you're going to squash the paper that way, so that the long folded and cut edges here line up. Rotate the paper and do the same thing on the other side. You see how we're turning this edge over, aligning it, like that. Here's our area to squash, like that. Now, lift up this hind leg, that's what it's going to be, and notice the crease. Lift up this corner to move it out of the area, but notice where this crease ends here. We're going to take this obtuse corner, fold it inward between the end points of those two creases. See how that folded edge is formed and it spans those two crease ends. Now we can put the paper back. Do the same thing on the other side. Lift the paper up, move this out of the way. Here's my obtuse corner. You can see the landmarks, and fold between those 2 points. And return. Notice this folded edge at the back of the leg and this cut edge of paper. Fold those to match. That makes one of the rear feet. And likewise on the other side, the back folded edge folds to the cut edge, folding forward like that. Let's go to the front where the arms will be, the front legs. Open the square and notice the mountain fold that happens and the valley fold after it. That's deliberate. You see how easy it is to manage that shape because the pre-creasing that we did made it simple. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Open the square, mountain fold, valley fold. You see how that crimp works automatically for you there? Just put those parts into place like that. We need to narrow this area somewhat. Rotate the paper so that the long center line is horizontal. I would like for you to notice this crease on your paper. Notice where it ends here on the folded edge. You're going to take the top layer, fold it over so that the crease will hit that point and also hit the very nose end of the bear up there. There's the crease. Now to finish it, we're going to make a squash fold. And when we do so, we're going to be moving this layer to the front edge of the bear's front leg. Like that. There's the squash. And we've narrowed this part. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Find that little crease and where its end is. Pick up the layer to move it and guide the fold between the nose end of the bear's head and that crease on your paper. Squash to move the layer toward the front of the leg. Now, you're going to free the leg that you've just formed from this set of layers underneath it and flatten everything back down. Watch. You see this? Just pull and you'll see that they'll become uninvolved again, like that. Turn the paper over and we're going to make a pre-crease to guide the real fold. If you fold this free layer up, you'll see an edge underneath here. Follow that edge, like that. Unfold it and reverse it inside the paper. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Fold up. Unfold and reverse it so it goes inside. So now we've narrowed the paper for the head and the neck. Let's go back to the underside for a moment and let's narrow the front legs. You'll see there's a free layer of paper that can turn over. You'll have to do a little bit of a squash fold there, that's all right. And here again, this layer wants to move. And there'll be a little bit of a squash fold there, like that. Fold in half. And adjust the paper. Inside reverse fold the back end about like this, keeping a nice hump back there, but notice that the tail end exits right above where the legs begin. Fold the excess layer over. Do the same thing on the other side. Fold the excess layer over. Fold the very tip of the tail up inside, tightly like this to make it blunt. It also locks the back end. Find the centermost opening at the front end of the front legs and inside reverse fold to begin to form the foot. Look at the level of the back feet and fold so that the pad of the front foot is level with that. Fold the tip in to blunt and shorten. And copy the same fold with the next leg right behind. Little quick inside reverse folds. You can trim up the belly of the bear by folding in like this, and the other side to match, in like this. And the final shaping. Polar bears have a fairly long neck. So what I like to do in this case is I like to open the back and start to dish that part in. And right about here I like to make a bend so that we see the neck coming up to where the top of the skull might be. Put in a good crease there. Copy that crease on the other side. Polar bears have very small ears, so without actually adding any paper there, making it more complex than it needs to be, we can actually simulate the ears and the bend of the crown of the head with mountain folds. What I'm doing is making a crimp here, like that. See how the shadow plays at the front of the head to make it appear as if there are eyes and ears there, and then shorten the muzzle by folding in the tip. Then you can adjust the bear, and there's your polar bear.